Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have some very interesting new news. The CEO of OpenAI was just fired. And if that sounds like something that you want to learn a little bit more about and you kind of want to get down with the facts and figure out what could have potentially caused him getting fired, then come along and join me for this video as we do a bit of a deep dive into the current situation at OpenAI. Alrighty, here is the official announcement from OpenAI. So the very first thing they say is OpenAI announces leadership transition. And what we see directly here is the announcement of Mira Murati as appointment of the interim CEO to lead OpenAI, while Sam Altman departs the company. So the next thing they say is a search process, which is directly underway to identify a permanent successor. And then here it goes into the very first statement. The board of directors of OpenAI Inc., that acts as the overall governing body for all OpenAI activities, today announced that Sam Altman will depart as CEO, leaving the board of directors. Mira Murati, the company's CTO, will serve as the interim CEO effective immediately. So that's the announcement here. Then they go into Mira and her background, which is obviously she's a super qualified person, so I am very confident that she will run OpenAI in the interim very effectively. But the interesting part starts here. Mr. Altman's departure follows a deliberate review process by the board, which concluded that he was not consistently candid in his communication with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI. Super interesting. The very interesting part here is actually that he was not consistently candid in his communications. So that actually leaves open a bit of interpretation, what that could mean. But let's go a little bit deeper and see if we can't find some other stuff here as well. So in a statement, the board of directors said, OpenAI was deliberately structured to advance our mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all humans. The board remains fully committed to serving this mission. What's interesting here is that the aspect that they outline here is intelligence benefits all humans, all humanity. So there is some theories out there, or there are some theories out there, that what this actually could mean is that there was a disagreement about that particular aspect, because not only do they mention the benefits all humanity once, they actually mention it twice, once up here and then a second time down here. So I thought that was quite interesting. There might be some disagreement that the board has in terms of the vision with where Sam wants to take the company versus where the board wants the company to go. And so that could be one of the reasons why they have decided to part ways. If we go up here again, there is, however, the aspect here where they mention the candid communication. Now, what's interesting about the relationship between Microsoft and OpenAI is that Sam is kind of that bridge communicator between them. So Sam is really the one that does all the communication between Microsoft and OpenAI. So it could be that there was some information that he didn't relay there properly as well. Now, what's super interesting is that OpenAI, 50% of OpenAI is actually owned by Microsoft. However, as we see later on here, none of the board members are actually part of Microsoft. This is because Microsoft is part of the team. Microsoft has 50% in the for-profit branch of OpenAI, but OpenAI's general is governed by the board of directors, which is the non-profit, and they don't actually have board seats on that. Now, there's a huge theory around how this all came to be. A lot of people actually credited Sam with the ability to negotiate that into their deal, that the Microsoft would put in the money but not get the deal. So there's other people again saying that they didn't actually want the seats on the board so that they could launch their own competitor at some point in the future. Others just say it wasn't an important part for them. They're such a valuable company, and that investment into the company, as crazy as that seems, is so minuscule that it wasn't a big important part of the negotiation. So there's different theories cruising around. But what we do know is that if we take a look here, Microsoft actually took a massive hit today. So let's see a very clear drop here. We'll cover it a little bit afterwards. But Microsoft took a massive loss, and there's other sources out here talking about that Microsoft was actually not informed about this decision before it came through. I also want to just quickly cover the actual statement from Sam that he made. So he said, "I loved my time at OpenAI. It was transformative for me personally, and hopefully the world a little bit. Most of all, I love working with such talented people. We'll have more to say about what's next later." So obviously, once he actually tells us what the next part is going to be, we will know a little bit more information. But as of right now, we don't know much more. And the biggest thing that we can do at this point is kind of speculate around some of the reasoning behind what the future of OpenAI will look like, and as to why Sam departed. Now, if we look at the actual organizational structure here, it is quite complicated. So I just want to visualize a little bit more why Microsoft doesn't actually have that much of an impact on the decisions that OpenAI makes, even though they are a majority shareholder. So the company structure, it gets quite complicated, but essentially what we see is that we have the nonprofit here. That then owns the holding structure, and the holding structure then holds the for-profit structure. And this is actually where Microsoft has invested into, and where they do have the 50% ownership. But if you see the structure here, you can clearly see that the board of directors makes the decisions from the very top, and Microsoft doesn't really have much to say about it at the bottom. So they can really independently decide what these executive decisions look like. Now, obviously, Sam, as the CEO, has a lot of influential power as well, but in terms of deciding whether he should stay or go, that is a decision that is left up to the board of directors, apparently in this case here. So just want to quickly outline and visualize to you guys why the structure of the actual board of directors and the entire company holding structure, or the overall entity structure, has such an important part in terms of deciding where the organization goes and who gets what decision-making power. So here's a quick visual representation of that. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of a background of what actually transpired here. But I want to go back to one more aspect, which is Greg Brockman. So Greg Brockman is the president and co-founder of OpenAI. And he actually had some very interesting things to say as well. Stay tuned. So if we look at Greg Brockman's Twitter page or X page, we can actually see the statement here that he released. And he's really proud. Together since started the department 8 years ago. They've been through tough and great times, and accomplished so much despite all the reasons it should have been impossible. But based on today's news, I quit. Super big move from Greg Brockman here, essentially putting up and declaring that he's on the side of Sam Altman. But then furthermore, he goes into actual some detail about what transpired, and this part is just too good to leave out. So here is kind of a little bit of a rundown of what we know so far has happened. So last night, Sam got a text from Ilya asking to talk at noon. Sam joined the Google Meet. The whole board was there except Greg. Ilya then told Sam that he was getting let go very soon, and then at 12:19, Greg got a text from Ilya asking for a quick call. He was then let know in the meeting that he was being removed from the board, but was vital to the company and would retain his role. And Sam had been fired around the same time. OpenAI actually decided to publish a blog post. That's the one that we covered a little bit earlier. And as far as we know, the management team was made aware of this shortly after, other than Mira, who found out the night before. So Mira, the new CEO. The outpouring of support has been really nice. Thank you, but please don't spend any time being concerned. We will be fine. Greater things coming soon. So I have a theory that these guys are going to either launch a new project or partner with one of the big dogs. And if we're really thinking about who can put up the money for this, there's only a few players that come into play. I'm curious to think who you think those might be, but off the top of my head, I would say Grok from SpaceX, from Elon Musk, his AI branch, part of the whole X ecosystem. It's been trained on the X ecosystem. That could be a potential partner. Google could also be one, although they tend to avoid big personalities like Sam. Even though he's not like super a big personality, Google has more of this type of mindset where it's all under the Google umbrella and they don't not really trying to promote individuals. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. I am super excited to hear your theories and figure out what's actually going to go on. We're obviously going to know in the next couple of minutes here, or I guess not minutes, but a couple of hours. The last thing I want to touch upon here is that 11 minutes ago, Sam Altman published one last post, which is, I love you all. Today was a weird experience in many ways, but one unexpected one is that it has sort of been like reading your own eulogy while you're still alive. The opportunity of love is awesome. One takeaway, go tell your friends how great you think they are. So I think that's awesome. I think he's taken this with a great deal of respect and a great deal of pride. Very professional way from him to handle this situation, which it seems to me was just totally dropped on them. So yeah. So that's really the situation that we're in right now. That's a bit of a rundown of the facts and a couple theories of what could have transpired, what could have caused this. I'm obviously always curious to hear what you guys are thinking. I want to take a bit of time and say that I don't think that OpenAI is set to shut down at any time soon. I think their operations are in good hands and with very competent people and with a very competent team that's obviously going to stay in place, even though there's change at the top executive levels. I still think the platform will perform reliably. So if your systems are currently running on OpenAI, I would not be worried at all. But obviously, if you want to stay tuned and up to date on what's going on, yeah, feel free to hit me a subscribe and hit a like button. It really helps with YouTube's algorithm. Again, this video is thrown together really quickly, so I apologize if there's some bad editing in here, but I want to get you guys updated as quickly as possible, shed some light on the situation, and let you know that the platform is in good hands and will keep operating. And I'm very confident in that take. So hope you all have a great night, and yeah, see you in the next one. Thank you and bye-bye.